Right, so let's do a little bit of a Christmas books recommendation. Let's start here with a topic that I've been really diving into this year and I think is really important for the church and for Christians to think about is how do we think about worship? This book, Worshiptainment by Matthew Everhard, is a great introduction to that. He exposes just the shallow nature of a lot of modern evangelical contemporary worship and just how unbiblical it's become. And that, as he says here, it's the modern church's golden calf. And I think he has a lot of great critique that is well deserved and needed for evangelical churches today. And I think is actually the cause of a lot of the weakness within the church. And to pair with that, The Lord's Service by Jeffrey Myers. Really good read. This is a bit of more of an in-depth read than this one, obviously, you can see from the size, and is a deep dive into the theology of the Lord's Day worship, right? So what should we be doing on Sunday? What is the purpose of the corporate gathering? Why do we gather? How should we gather? What should our liturgy look like? This one gets into the weeds of the theology behind it and really builds a great biblical case, a theological case through the Old and New Testament of how we should order the elements of our worship. Understanding the purpose of the Sunday gathering, I think, is tantamount for us to understand how we rightly ought to worship God. Because most evangelicals today don't even think to stop to ask whether God is pleased with their worship. They just kind of assume he is. All right, moving on from worship, let's talk about manhood. These two books are my favorites right now by Zach Harris. Interviewed him on the podcast. You can check it out. But this book here is a biblical and theological treatise, basically, on masculine Christianity, the patriarchal nature of the faith, and how God has designed the world to work in this way and men to rule in the church, in society, in their families. He is a trained theologian and also a lawyer. So he just makes such an airtight case that I don't know if you can really argue too much with this book. I think it's a good pushback on a lot of the complementarian compromise that's been happening, where complementarianism functionally just becomes soft egalitarianism. And of course, the one to pair with that is Zach's second book, Honor Thy Fathers, Recovering the Anti-Feminist Theology of the Reformers. As you can tell from the title, this is more of a historical argument. So the first book, The Masculine Christianity, that one is more of a biblical theological argument. This one's a historical argument. He's taking a look at the theology of the Reformers, guys like Calvin, Knox, Luther, and really showing that the modern day ways that we understand gender roles and sex and all that stuff are really modern inventions of feminism and how it's seeped into the church, and is very well cited. If you come from a Protestant or Reformed tradition, you're going to really appreciate this.